What's up, guys? Well, as you can see, Greg is still in the bathroom. He's been there a while. Everybody else is just chilling, so we're good. So now, here's what I did last night. We got some nice tires and wheels installed on the trailer, and we fixed the old rickety tailgate. Well, kinda. Got some hot glued parts on there. Those little gates came off a little 24 scale, little ramps that came with it. So I just kind of glued them to the edge to help support the strength of it being straight up and down, and it looks way better now. And that's actually where the trucks drive up on the edge there, so works out good for that. Now we got the front here where I had some cheap diamond plate just on it. I don't know if I can get this pointed the right way, huh? Part of it broke, so I just put another little piece right over it, not like it's mattering much. Got this little box I was thinking about mounting it right here, putting a little toe chain inside there or something. I think that'll work out okay. So it did really turn out good though. Oh, and it rolls better than it ever has. It's never been this smooth before. I really had to work to get them smoother again. These shafts are way bigger than what's on an RC car, so I had to drill a hole in the wheels a little bit. You don't want the nut on here will turn real easy, so I had to put hot glue over the ends. That's how I always have had it though on my other wheels, so it works perfect that way. You have to keep them really loose so they'll spin freely. There's actually a wheel hex on the back of these that goes into the rim and it goes up onto the shaft after the threads end. That's how come they're able to stay stable as well. So it works really well. Not a bad deal for homemade. Honestly, if it wasn't so good, I'd have bought a real one by now. But it works really good and it holds my trucks perfect. So I am going to get another one, so I'll have two. Anyway, you may have noticed there's a Hobby Wing 1080 and a Trailmaster motor just sitting there. That is because we're going to do a head-to-head shootout with my TRX4 Blazer, battling this baby right here. We're going to go up against the Cross RC. Back when they came out, everybody said they were basically copying TRX4, blah blah blah. Well, everybody's done it since, so it's not a big deal. But when you set them side by side, which I'm going to do here in just a few minutes for you, they match up very well. Bum, bum, bum. Head-to-head matchup coming on. Now I know it's going to be good. So let me get this ESC and motor installed in the orange truck and get the tires swapped so they both have the same flat irons, and we'll go from there. This is going to be fun, actually. Now we'll really know, did Cross come out with something that could keep up with TRX4? They look a lot alike. They have all the same features, so we will find out. So alright, check that out. They both got their flat irons. I need to paint some white letters again. I just haven't got around to it. I bought 2 new markers. It's just kind of a pain. So here's what you got over here though. I mean, she's looking like she's up in the air, but the suspension is super soft over there. This one's a lot stiffer, has oil. This truck's ready to go. Okay, it's set for the competition already. So as you can see, front very stiff, and back it's nice and slow, as you can tell. These are the lifted Traxxas shocks. And that's, again, the only thing on here that's a lift kit is the shocks. It don't have the servo mount dropped. It doesn't have added links, extended links. None of that. Dry shafts are stock. All of it. Just the shocks. All right, now this one here, if they didn't droop right now, it would be up there just with it. You know what I'm saying? There you go, higher. They both sit about the same if you lift them. So, again, this one's finished and ready to go. I'm going to pull the body off and show you guys the two of them here in a second. See what's underneath the hood. So, okay, now, again, you know, they are very similar rigs. You know, they did take a lot of notes when they built it, but they know how to stay from getting sued, so they kept it different. little flimsier, you know, not as strong. Traxxas, you know, their plastic is just crazy good. It can take some abuse. But this one here, the shocks I heard are really good on these. I think they just need maintenance. We're going to take care of that here in just a few minutes. But other than that, it sits good. It rides good. I'm not sure if Cross has that where each dry shaft goes the opposite way to keep from torque twist. I don't know. I haven't did my research on that part. Oops. Don't go pulling wires when you think it's a stick, because those are differential cables. Don't like how they stick way up there, but it's alright. Now, we don't have the stock bumpers for this rig here. I wish I did, kinda. I gave these to my buddy because they're not my favorite, but they're alright. So anyway, I like that it's got the whole front weight thing going on here. The motor's way up front. The servo is way forward compared to Traxxas. Traxxas is back quite a bit, but they leave you room to put stuff here. Your servo winch, stuff like that, has plenty of room. Motor's way back. I kind of like this setup. If you go with a scale rig where you pop the hood and you want a scale engine covering this, you can, you know, which they probably make one that looks fake there, but I don't know. The front weight up, I think it's a pretty good setup there. I'll give them points for that one over there. So, the portals, like I said, they look almost the same. They're a little bit bulkier, obviously, on Traxxas. Let's see, turning radius. Okay, they have a good turning radius as well. Not as good. Plus, these look like it's rolling over a little bit. I don't know if you can tell that on camera. Traxxas is straight up and down. This one is definitely towing in at the top. Now it's towing out. Traxxas is still straight as an arrow. Put that down, it might change it. Nope. Just is what it is. But they turn very well. I don't know if I got them locked or not at the moment, but it doesn't matter. So, again, we're liking it. Let me get this one out of the way. They also both have lights. Obviously, I put my own in this one. Cross comes with lights. Full setup, you know, front and back. No fancy blinking and reverse, none of that. But who needs all that, to be honest? But it's all about personal taste, I guess, if you want all that. And money. So, anyhow, no place for rock lights on the Cross. That you get Traxxas, you get that option, which is kind of nice. And there you go. So here's what we got. Let me go ahead and just show you before we button it up. We have a 27 turn 540 can. My favorite motors. Well, 550 cans are better, but so we got two of them right here. Same motor. Bought in about the same time, I believe. So we're running the Hobbywing 1080. So we're going to put the Hobbywing 1080 in this rig anyway. So that's what we got to do right now. This one does have a pretty decent servo. Let's see if you can tell. I can't really see it from here. 35 kg. So this one's probably stock. I'm not worried about it. We'll change it later if we have to. I know these shift servos are a little weak, but we'll deal with that later too. So for now, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going to clean it up a little bit and start stripping it down. So here we are. Now I'm going to tell you one thing. Traxxas is definitely a lot better when it comes to changing a motor. So is just about everybody else. Red Cat, all of them. You got to take quite a bit of stuff apart on here. Now, granted, I took the transmission out. That don't have to come out. Probably. I don't know if it does or not. I took it out just to see what it was like, you know. I'm just learning the truck because when I'm swapping the motors, you know, I like to go ahead and dig in there and see what I don't know about the truck, so that if I'm ever out on the trail just cruising and something breaks, I kind of already know how to get to it, you know. That's the way I look at it. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, and also, I want to give another shout out to my buddy John. He gave me a great deal on this truck. This truck's in really good shape. She's clean. So, now it is anyway. I cleaned her up, but all I used was hot water, really. So, anywho, we took out the 35 turn stock motor. I have two options. I got a 21 turn Trailmaster, which is a 550 can. Or I got the 27 turn 540 can. I'm going with the 27 because that's what's in the other truck, and we want to keep it fair for a little bit of a duel here. You know, if we're going to compete against each other a little bit. And plus, this is one of my first Trailmasters from way back. It's pretty old. I've had it for a long time. Boy, it's got some compression to it, though, compared to this one. But anyway, well, they both do compared to this little thing. So, let me go ahead and get that slap back in. If y'all ain't never worked on a cross RC, you're going to have to watch a different video if you want to learn about it, because I don't know anything. I'm learning as I go, like everything. I know I took a bunch of stuff out, and then I pulled one screw out and this cover come out, and I was like, you got to kidding me if that's the only thing I needed to take out. Well, turns out it wasn't. Well, it kind of was. I could have took that one screw out, then took out these other two and removed the motor. But I took the other stuff out just because I wanted to look at it. But it's pretty good. It's pretty stout too. That transmission, it's in good shape there. And then you got a little transfer case. It sounds like it could use a little grease in it. So, anywho, I'm gonna slap this in real fast. So, all right, now I got pretty much everything wrapped up, and I'm checking on this suspension now. I figured the front was drooping a lot more than the back, and I was going to check the oil, and it turns out the springs were just adjusted all the way down in the front and way up in the back. But I did open it up. It's got oil in it. It could use more, but I'm struggling to find where my oil is for my shocks. I think I might be about out. Yeah, I don't know where I did with it. I'm going to have to look for it. But anyway, it wasn't empty, so I'm going to adjust them up a little bit like the back. Bring the back down some. I don't want it too high, but I want it to run about like the you know, other truck's gonna do, like the Blazer, and it sits up high, so I might as well just use a little stiffer. So, and what I was gonna talk about though is every truck's different, obviously. Some trucks you find it's like, okay, I don't like this as much as I like this on the other truck. But then you find something that's like, man, this is better than they have on the other truck. And I'm going to tell you right now, TRX4, when it comes to their shocks, you have their inner fenders to mount to. And that kind of sucks. You do have adjustments inside, but it's still a pain. This is the coolest setup I've found so far. There's a hole in the inner fender. You unmount the shock, but yet the shock can be right here to work on. I can sit here, I can take it loose. The truck just kind of can go up and down, but the shock can work right through that hole. Same on the back. That is cool. Any other time, you know, like on Traxxas, you got to get way up under there, take the shock out almost. Some other trucks you can get to from the top, but on this one, all you do is it'll drop up through the hole, let the body drop down, or I mean the chassis. That's pretty darn cool. I mean, I dig it. And then you mount it right back where you want it. So let me get that buttoned up and then we'll check it out. Well, alright, that wasn't so bad actually. That was a little bit of a learning curve, but I'll tell you, at first I was thinking I'm not a big fan of this setup, but after taking it apart, putting it back together and seeing the easy way to do it and all that, it's not a bad setup at all. Still not as good as Traxxas as far as pulling them top bolts out and just yanking the whole motor out. but it works. Okay. Now I will say though, this is a 540 can motor, just like the stock one, but if you went to a 550, you know, that would be a tight fit, but it would go. You know, I do kind of like having the motor up front and all that, but it seems like it's going to be real light in the back. We'll find out. But I just had to add brass to my TRX4 high trail to make up for all that light front, so maybe this has an advantage there. I went through, after getting the motor in, the ESC in, I went through every bit of this truck, checking it all out, the gears, oiling, greasing it. It's all good. I went ahead and tuned all the shocks too. They were dropped all the way down in the front, raised up pretty good in the back, and that's why the truck was sitting the way it was. So I opened them up. They do have oil in them. I couldn't find my oil. I guess I'm out. So I went ahead and just put them back together, adjusted the springs, and as you can see, she's sitting pretty good. Let's throw the body on it. Alright, one more little thing. In case you're wondering how you run your lights. Now, if all you're running is a simple set of headlights, taillights, not a light bar, nothing that's going to drain a lot of juice, okay? Just headlight, taillight. Then just, you can run it right here to the Hobbywing 1080 port, right where you do the programming at. Just don't put a lot of draw type power stuff there. You can run lights, no light bar, just regular lights, maybe a few little things, but don't try to run a winch or nothing that's going to draw real strong because you might burn it up. But I've been running lights through there for a long time on all my rigs. So, just saying. The two on the, well, the way mine's facing right now, the two on the far right is your negative, and then the one in the middle is the positive. So, there you go. Just set that baby right over here. I'm kind of growing quite fond of this little rig, to be honest. I think it's going to do really well on a head-to-head against that truck, but it seems like my body mounts might be a little high because the body don't really go in there. It does in the back, but not the front. I don't know if they're raised or if it's hitting that bumper right there as well. So anywho, alright, now that looks good with them wheels, don't it? I just realized that this is the first time I put the body back on with those tires. Well, the other tires were the same, but these are different rims plus the white letters. So yeah, I think that's looking real good. That looks real good. I love them yellow headlights like old school. I still hear people trying to say this is a Blazer. It's not to me. I know it's not licensed, but that is definitely an 80s Ford Bronco. The only difference is the groove down the side should be indented all the way down, nice long groove. They didn't put that in. It has the exact same hood as a Ford, 82 Ford, not a 70s, 80s only. It's got the same grille, except it would have a little bit smaller marker light at the bottom and a headlight at the top on some years. Other years it did have the dual lights. And they went with the 70s style tail light though, because if 80s they wrapped around the corner on most every vehicle. But the 70s Broncos didn't, they were in the back. So they kind of mixed it up a little bit. I can't wait to run this thing now. So now, let me get the Blazer up here and show you what's up. Alright guys, after a couple of hours of work, we are set up for tomorrow's battle of the, I don't know what you're going to call it, battle of the big trucks, I don't know. So we basically got two trucks that are dead even when it comes to comparisons, at least on paper. Locking, unlocking diffs, 2-speed transmission, both trucks running the exact same tires, Proline flat irons. Okay, Hobbywing 1080, both trucks. Holmes Hobby Trailmaster 27 turn, both trucks. I made them dead even. The servos might be the only difference, but that don't matter really. We're not going to judge how strong the steering servo is. Although they do have great steering radius on both rigs. I have that one turned down some. Man, that thing works. And obviously them work. So anyway, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We are going to have a great battle of some type.